Welcome back to Happy Life, Better Life. Listen, life has not been quite so happy. Can we be honest? Can we just have a real conversation? When you're in your 40s and 50s, you're kind of in a new paradox. You have parents who are aging, going through different things health wise. I had to, my brother and I, we took my mom to be tested last week or to be examined for dementia because there's been a few little different things there that we've seen and noticed within the past year. And I think she was trying to cook popcorn, I guess, but she put it in the pan and put it in the microwave, you know. And thankfully, my brother was home because otherwise that could have caused a huge fire, you know. So we're trying to figure some things out and then see what services we need, what things we shall qualify for, how we'll do this. But it's navigating a whole new place in life. And if you're in your 40s and 50s and 60s, you probably know what I'm talking about, you know. You There's been so many people who have family members who suffer with Alzheimer's and dementia that it's not really new to any of us. It's just become a part of life. But emotionally, these things can take a toll. Then on top of that, you have your children and you have grandchildren and stuff sometimes. And one of my grandchildren had a really bad accident. Um, she was in the bathroom and there was a, a candle that was lit in there. And she had literally just turned 10 a few days before this. And we were going to be getting together to celebrate her birthday. And she sprayed something and somehow she caught her hair, the side of her face, and her ear on fire. And it was a very traumatic event for everyone. Her sisters who were there, her mother, her dad. It was very traumatic. It was. And then even when I saw her, she had to be flown by helicopter from one hospital to another hospital in Pittsburgh. And they ended up releasing her fairly quickly. Like, she was there overnight and stuff. But probably if this was a few years ago, they would have kept her longer. Nowadays, they always send people home and they want you to change the bandages and they want you to do all these things. And it was just a lot. It was just a lot to take in. And seeing her that way and seeing how her spirits were kind of low because she was concerned about how things were going to look. Her face was very swollen, so her eye was like completely shut, one of her eyes. And she was there and she was present, but she was kind of quiet and to herself. And she's usually very full of life and very, very energetic. And she just stayed on her phone. And, we were all trying to be cheerful and encouraging and just let her know that we loved her and we're there for her. But when I got home by myself, I just cried. Oh my gosh. I just cried because, that's one of my babies. And it hit me really hard. Like I didn't even go to work like Monday and Tuesday. It took me a minute to get myself together. And actually on Monday, I went to the exam with my mom and my brother. But I'm saying all this to say that life can come very swiftly and quickly, things we don't expect. Some things we do expect, and we put it off for as long as we can. But then we have to, deal with all these things. And when you're in your 40s and 50s, people don't really talk about it, but your emotions, you can begin to feel things very deeply, whether good or bad. Like you feel love very deeply, you know, um, and you feel hurt, very deeply. I've seen men, hit their 50s and then they find like, I can be honest, like my ex, there was a time we had all went over to his house for Thanksgiving. So he had his children. We have three children together, and so he had his three children, and he had his grands, and at that time we probably had 3 grandchildren. Now we have like 6. And he was just like so emotional. He just started tearing up, and he was just like, I'm so, I just feel so blessed to have my kids and my grands around me. And it's like something shifting inside of you, and you see things differently and you feel things differently, but nobody really talks about that. And the other thing that made me sad, and I'm going to be honest with you, whether you're a woman or a man or whatever, when I came home after that traumatic, a scene, I guess, with everything that had happened with my granddaughter, when I came home and I was home by myself, that was depressing to me too. It really was. It was like, this is not how my life was supposed to be. This is how I was feeling in this moment. So it wasn't like I came home and I had a significant other and I could lean on him or have him just hold me and say it's going to be okay, and or encourage me in some way. It was just me. And so usually I force myself to bounce back really quickly, but this time I could not do it. I could not do it. I just, like I said, it took me a couple of days to even feel normal again, and like going back into work and, trying to get my mind back into the game. And I just said to my supervisor, look, this happened. My mom's dealing with this, and we're trying to handle that. My granddaughter had an accident, and we're trying to deal with that. And I said, I'm here, but mentally, I'm not altogether here. So I'm going to do my best for you today. I'm going to do my best for me. And and he was getting over being sick. So he was like, no, physically, I'm still fighting, trying to get over this sickness that I have. And he was like, so I understand. We're just going to take it easy this week, and we'll start over fresh on Monday. So thankfully, thank God, thank the universe, thank the creator for people who have some sense of compassion, and for people who have some sense of understanding, because not everybody has that available to them. But I'm saying this to you because you could be in a place where you could be feeling overwhelmed with emotion. You could have things going on with your children, things going on with your parents, things going on with yourself. So I want you to give yourself space to, I guess, be vulnerable. People talk about vulnerability, and it always seems like it's such a negative. And I get it, because to be vulnerable means that there's part of you that's not protected. There's part of you that is exposed. So no, we don't want to be vulnerable. But let me just say, be transparent. Be transparent. Be honest. And give yourself space. Be forgiving towards yourself for feeling however you feel. I mean, I literally had to call a relative of mine, and I told her, I said, listen, I'm not really feeling like myself right now. This happened, that happened. And she was like, why am I just finding out about all this stuff? And I said, because honestly, certain things I couldn't even talk about, because I just wasn't emotionally, I was like, until I can talk about this without crying, without having an emotional conundrum, I didn't really want to talk about it. I wanted to wait till I was in a place where I felt better. So a lot of times my family, people look to me for answers. People look to me for strength, and most of the time I can give it. I can provide it. If I don't know the answer, I can find the answer, because I want to be able to be there for my friends, for my family. But sometimes you can get in a place where you don't have the answer, you don't have the strength. And what I want to tell you is that's okay. It's okay. It's okay not to know. It's okay to be hurt. It's okay to be depressed for a moment. No, you don't want to stay there, but it's okay to be sad. Maybe that's more what I mean. It's okay to be sad. So today, if you find yourself in a place where you're feeling a little broken, give yourself time. You don't have to know it all. You don't have to have all the answers. And we're all navigating through this life. So I just want to give you some encouragement today. In the meantime, as always, I want you to live a happy life and a better life. Bye-bye.